Coming up today on Tech Pulse, the new MacBook Air Wi-Fi issues is being investigated by Apple. The Hyrule 3D printer can print using Play-Doh. Xbox Live Cloud explained. And if you want to protect your electronics from water, you just might want to watch this show coming up today on Tech Pulse. This is Tech Pulse for June 26, 2013. Yeah, once again, we're back in the studio and we're talking about tech. This is a show where you get all your news about technology and, you're able to put them in small bite-sized little bits of information and take it with you throughout the day. Now, you might notice, and you're saying probably to yourself, why do I have these two cans sitting right beside me right here? Well, on today's episode of Tech Pulse, we tracked down a product that is supposed to be able to protect your electronics in up to 6 inches of water. I mean, keep it bone dry, ports and everything. So this is the product right here. It's called Never Wet by Rust-Oleum. And we saw this product and we saw a video of it spraying an iPhone 4, iPhone 5, and they let it dry and they dunked that thing in water. And we're going to show you that video coming up a little bit later of how they dunked it in water and iPhone worked fine. So we here at Tech Pulse decided we were going to get this product, and we got the product, and we're going to put it through our own test to see if this thing actually works, or is it just, a bunch of hearsay. Because it's easy for something to say that it works, but, then it doesn't work after that. So we're going to test it and put it through our own tests here at Tech Pulse, and you're going to see that live. Right here on Tech Pulse, you're going to see that live coming right up. But first, we have to head into our first story. Now, first story, we're talking about the Apple MacBook Air Wi-Fi issues that many people have been complaining about. Now, according to 9 to 5 Mac and Digital Trends, when Apple's Phil Schiller unveiled the latest iteration of the MacBook Airs during WWDC, happened a couple weeks ago just prior to E3 in San Francisco, he promised that one of the big draws of the new MacBook Airs, both the 11-inch and the 13.3-inch, one of the biggest draws would be the speedier Wi-Fi that it was going to offer with the new ultra slim laptop together with better battery life and quicker, cleaner graphics processor and stuff like that. Now, while not enough, it is not enough to knock Apple off of its, off of its seats for people, not to really buy the MacBook Air. It still did get a big mention from a couple of people. When I say a couple, I mean quite a lot of people. Now, that new 802.11ac Wi-Fi, in the last few days, a number of those people who bought the new machine have been complaining of lost connections. Their connection just dropped. They're using their MacBook Air, and the connection just drops for no reason. And it's not their Wi-Fi. It's not their Wi-Fi in the house. It's the Wi-Fi card inside the MacBook Air, the 11 and 13-inch. Now, of course, you would expect a couple of glitches when you have new products, but the Wi-Fi connection is not one that you want to have when you have a machine that is made to be portable, a machine that's made to be able to go anywhere because of the Wi-Fi. And matter of fact, that's the reason why Apple decided to make the Wi-Fi speedy and move up from 802.11n to 802.11ac, because they wanted to get that quicker, speedier Wi-Fi, because they know the MacBook Air is for people on the go. And many people have been complaining that their Wi-Fi just cuts out. So Apple didn't give a lot of credence to it initially, but the problem has been deemed serious enough by the people at Apple to instruct Apple employees in the various Apple stores that they are supposed to, quote-unquote, capture any new MacBook Airs with Wi-Fi issues, according to the people at Apple. Specifically, the directive obtained by the website says, in the United States, Apple geniuses and advisors should capture MacBook Air's 13-inch mid-2013 and MacBook Air 11-inch mid-2013 computers with any Wi-Fi issue. Now, by capture, we assume Apple means something along the lines of, don't let the customer who brings the faulty MacBook Air into the store leave with that MacBook Air. And that's what's been happening. Now, some people have either gotten direct replacements, or they've been given a USB to Ethernet adapter, enabling them to connect the Air to connect to the internet without needing Wi-Fi. A fix for the current stability problem of the issues. Now, another report Monday, this one from And Tech, found data transfer rates with the new MacBook Air to be less than stellar, a problem attributing to network issues in Apple's OS X Mavericks software. The tech company hasn't yet made any official announcement regarding the issues affecting the new MacBook, though we expect to hear something once it had a chance to better assess the situation when they get these MacBook Airs in. Now, Apple is normally, they're normally not like this when they ship out their machines and stuff like that. Yeah, there's some bugs to be had and things like that, but, Apple is normally a little bit more careful when they launch their new machines. I mean, it's normally, working pretty well and stuff like that, and now they're shipping machines that just, not up to par. I mean, these machines, the thing you buy a MacBook Air for, you buy a MacBook Air because you want to be able to be portable. That's one of the biggest draws of the MacBook Air. I mean, yes, you want a good hard drive, you want a good graphic card, processor, and all that type of stuff. Yes, sure you want that, but one of the big things with the MacBook Air is being able to carry it anywhere, coffee shop, Barnes & Noble, wherever, and being able to connect to a Wi-Fi and, surf the web, do whatever you have to do. And if the Wi-Fi card is bad, then right away, because the MacBook Air has no optical drive, so you can't do much if you don't have Wi-Fi. That's the thing about it. And so for the Wi-Fi card to be bad in the MacBook Air, and many people are complaining about it right out the gate, shows that Apple doesn't have, at least it doesn't seem like they have that same level of quality that they used to have when Steve Jobs was running the ship. I mean, this type of thing would just be unheard of a few years ago. With Apple, you wouldn't hear about MacBook Airs having faulty Wi-Fi card. I mean, that's just that's like the heart of the MacBook Air, because what else are you going to do with a MacBook Air if there's no Wi-Fi? There's no optical drive. There's nothing else you can do. Everything is built around downloading or streaming or whatever, and with no Wi-Fi, so that, to me, that something looks kind of, amiss in the Apple camp. I mean, Devin, do you think that Apple is slipping a little bit, or is that just par for the course? New product, you gotta expect some problems, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't get excited about, them having that issue per se. Mm-hmm. I'm not an Apple fan, but I wouldn't go crazy over that.
So let's not jump the gun.
Let's not jump the gun.
Jump the gun on the guys, but at the same time,
I'll pronounce
it's just
them
not
dead on other issues.
But not necessarily on the Wi-Fi situation. Yeah, and even though, you can't just say that, Apple is dead because of one issue. To me, it's starting to show little chinks in the armor of Apple. That, because, Apple has all been about, perfection. They're all about perfection. They're about top-level innovation. And we're starting to see that that's just not the case. We're starting to see that they're not as polished as they once were. So we're going to continue to check this story to see if Apple, what they come up with, because Apple hasn't officially said there's something wrong. They just said capture the MacBook Airs that have the problem and send them back. They haven't come out and said that we admit or we know there's problems or anything like that. They haven't said that. They just said, since there seems to be a problem, just capture those Airs and bring them back to the hub, and we'll check them out, when we come back. So we have to see if Apple, what their main thought is, what they were thinking, and if anything happens. Yeah, we have to see if anything happens with that. Now, speaking of companies that have something going on, if you noticed before, Sony PlayStation, we talked about that firmware update, that this PS3, the 4.45, the firmware update. It came on a few days ago, and on Monday we reported that that firmware update was bricking a lot of PS3s. Well, Sony has released a statement about the fixes of that update. Yep, they did release a statement on the fixes of that update, and according to Geeky Gadgets, a report by Geeky Gadgets, Sony said that the new firmware 4.45 update for PS3, the fixed version, will land tomorrow. It is coming out tomorrow, and they say so. Sony announced that it will be released tomorrow, and it had the following to say about the issue on Twitter. They said that we have identified the issue related to the PS3 software update 4.45 that impacted a small number of PS3 systems earlier this week. A new system software update is planned to be released on Thursday, June 27th, that resolves this issue. So it looks like the update, Sony PS3 4.45 firmware, will be rolled out in the US and Europe the same time. That's tomorrow, June 27th. So we're going to see what happens if this firmware updates. So you might want to, if you've been waiting, me personally, I want to see some feedback before I update my PS3 and get it bricked. So we're going to see how this update works out. But according to Sony, they have fixed the problem. So there's no more issue with that firmware update 4.45. They have fixed it. So for those of you that have had problems with it in the past, or you probably downloaded it and your system was bricked, then obviously you have to check with Sony to see about what they're doing as far as replacement or whatever. But for the rest of us, firmware update should be intact. Now, coming up after the break, we're talking about, we talk a lot about 3D printers on this show, but we have a high-reel 3D printer that can print using Play-Doh, air drying clay, and other elements like that. So you got to see this. I mean, this is great for like schools and stuff like that. All that and more. Plus, Xbox Live Cloud functionality explained. That's going to be a big thing with the Xbox One. All of that and more coming up on Tech Pulse. Oh yeah, I mean, you thought that this was just going to be another show. No, all of that and more is going to come up on Tech Pulse. So we'll be right back, right after these words. Oh, I'm still here, aren't I? Yeah, well, we'll be right back. Trust me. As soon as I,
Should we?
We'll be right back.